spent a lot of time over the past few months talking about how kids and children are increasingly becoming the victims of gun violence. And now police tell us about this 16-year-old who they say is responsible for some of that violence. He has been charged in the deaths of 4 people, and he's left a lot of hurt behind.
Now listen. How many of y'all think Karens? I'm calling the manager. I'm calling the police. Oh, I see somebody doing something wrong and it ain't none of my business. I'ma say something about it. As annoying as Karens is, and boy, they are annoying. I hate Karens. Okay? I worked in retail. Okay? I worked in retail for years. I've worked at Home Depot. I've worked at all different types of businesses, okay? Throughout the years, retail. Kentucky Fried Chicken, Community Pride grocery store. I've worked some places, Jack. I've had a lot of jobs. So I knew who Karens was before the term was even made. They annoying. They not as bad as Boonquishas, but that's another story. Who thinks that if Karens were having this problem in their community, young teenage boys, their sons, not doing a mass shooting every once in a while in some random city, like what? We have what, 100 and something mass shooters this year, 192 last time I checked mass shootings this year, and what, like 30 of them was white guys, 20, I think 20, between 20 and 30 are white guys, and the rest are black, and like 5 or 6 of them are Latino, and I think one is an Arab, the one in Boulder, and the rest black. And guys like this guy who's charged with 4 murders. Who thinks that Karens would have this epidemic going on in their community where kids is getting shot, women is getting shot every day in every city in their community? Who thinks Karens wouldn't be out making a fuss about this, but be in the streets protesting for grown-ass men fighting with the cops in the street? Grown men with 10, 15 kids all over the place they ain't taking care of. In and out of jail, just came home from jail fighting with the cops because they got another warrant since they've been home from jail. Who thinks Karens would be in the street if this was happening in their community? I know they're doing it for our community. I know Karens are protesting in the streets for the shit going on in our community. The niggas getting shot by cops in our community. Who thinks Karens would be protesting for the criminal grown men in their community over while this problem of shootings and killings was going on in their community, and it was their kids dying, their teenage boys getting killed, and their teenage boys doing a lot of it? Who thinks that Karens, I'm gonna call the police on you, somebody go get the manager, will stand by and let this happen in their community the way sisters are allowing it to happen in their community while they out protesting for grown men? Jailbirds.
How kids and children are increasingly becoming the victims of gun violence. And now police tell us about this 16-year-old who they say is responsible for some of that violence. He has been charged in the deaths of 4 people, and he's left a lot of hurt behind.
I can't sleep. I can't eat because my grandson had never come home again. And I lost my heart. That was my baby.
The morning of Christmas Eve, the woman you heard from there got the call that no one wants to get. Her 20-year-old grandson, Daewoo Scruggs, had been gunned down while waiting for his bus to get to work. The shooter chased him down, firing at least 15 shots in his direction. The entire thing was caught on video. Police now say 16-year-old Amin Hurst was the one who pulled the trigger on that aspiring comedian. On March 20th, Hurst was arrested and charged in that murder. But in between Scruggs' murder and those charges, there was another shooting. That time, 4 people were shot in a car. 2 of them died. Last week, Hurst was charged with those murders, and while he was behind bars, police took a closer look at a gun connected to him. That's when they discovered that gun was connected to another unsolved murder that we told you about as breaking news right after it happened in March. A 20-year-old man who'd just been released from jail was gunned down on the grounds of the Curran from Holt.
This is absolutely amazing. How many of you guys been subscribed to the channel since at least last year? And all my channels. When I say that, I'm talking about all my channels, because I did a video about the comedian he killed last year around Christmas time, Wooks Biddy. I did that video on my other channel. Comedian was gunned down, and everybody thought it was because the comedian made a joke about FBG Duck. FBG Duck is a rapper he's a rapper out of Chicago that was gunned down. And this comedian, Wooks Biddy, he made a video, you know, talking about he's smoking on FBG Duck. You know, it's a bad joke, but he was making a joke. And he was gunned down shortly thereafter. But here's the thing a lot of people don't understand, is that it's multiple beefs going on. Yeah, he did that about FBG Duck, but you can have other problems. Like, it's just crazy. Like, when you're a black man and you're in Philadelphia, you don't just got beef with one person. Nobody's gonna shoot you because you said something about FBG Duck. And that's what I heard, and that's what I thought. That's what I said. I said I don't think it was over that. You can go watch the video, but whatever. That's what the story was at the time. But I always was like, that just don't make no sense. A guy from Philly, a comedian in Philly, somebody in Philly killing him because he made a video. He got killed because his ops seen him around the same time he made that video. If he would have, that's just the way it happened. The guy he had beef with saw him at the bus stop going to work and shot him that day. And a couple days earlier, he made a video about FBG Duck, and people put one and one together. But Wooks Biddy, I was like, damn. And then the other story, the guy getting shot just when he came home from jail. This guy killed that guy too. Yeah, this is the guy, Rodney Hargrove. He was released from jail, and he was waiting for the bus across the street from the jail. And while he was waiting for the bus across the street, some dude came by, and I don't know if he got into it with the dudes. I don't know what they waiting for him. And as you can tell, you don't know what really happened until you do. And he ended up getting shot. It was a huge story in Philly. This was a big story. A lot of big YouTubers did videos on this. It was a huge story in Philadelphia. And it was they're changing the way, what the protocol when they release inmates now. The family, I think they're suing the jail. And the whole time was this guy, this psychopath. Look at them eyes. And listen, he got them eyes like a killer, them shy eyes. A lot of people think killers, nah, killers have shy eyes. Real killers. This boy probably wouldn't even look you in your eyes. And DMX got a lyric. He said, and it's at least 100 others like me mobbing the streets. Whenever we starve and we eat whatever's there. You know the code of the street, whatever's fair. It's at least 100. In a city like Philadelphia, there's at least 1,000 guys like this. And then just think about this. This guy killed the comedian. That was a big story all over YouTube. He killed the guy who was just released from jail. That was a big, kind of like regional story all over the East Coast. And then he committed a mass shooting. 16 years old, all within a stretch of a few months. This is one guy. And it's at least 100 of them like them in Newark, Camden, Baltimore, DC. And you mean to tell me that if this was going on in white neighborhoods, which it's not, because you guys can't, I've given you guys 4 years to send me any evidence that there's one white community like this, where this happens, this type of stuff happens all the time, every day, 2 times a week, 1 time a week, like it does in all the different hundreds and hundreds of communities that we know about, and that rappers brag about, and that, you know, white liberals move out of, and pro-blacks and black activists move out of and won't live in. And you mean to tell me if this was happening in the white communities, Karens wouldn't be raising hell about it? I don't believe that.
Police tell us about this 16-year-old who they say is responsible for some of that violence. He has been charged in the deaths of 4 people, and he's left a lot of hurt behind.
I can't sleep. I can't eat because my grandson will never come home again. And I lost my heart. That was my baby.
The morning of Christmas Eve, the woman you heard from there got the call that no one wants to get. Her 20-year-old grandson, Daewoo Scruggs, had been gunned down while waiting for his bus to get to work. The shooter chased him down, firing at least 15 shots in his direction. The entire thing was caught on video. Police now say 16-year-old Amin Hurst was the one who pulled the trigger on that aspiring comedian. On March 20th, Hurst was arrested and charged in that murder. But in between Scruggs' murder and those charges, there was another shooting. That time, 4 people were shot in a car. 2 of them died. Last week, Hurst was charged with those murders, and while he was behind bars, police took a closer look at a gun connected to him. That's when they discovered that gun was connected to another unsolved murder that we told you about as breaking news right after it happened in March. A 20-year-old man who'd just been released from jail was gunned down on the grounds of the Curran Fromhold Correctional Facility. Police say it appears as though that man was the tragic victim of mistaken identity. Now, Hurst, he may be a teenager, but it certainly did take some time for the authorities to track him down. The fugitive team, as well as the U.S. Marshals, they were searching for him. They say he was aware that they were looking for him, and he was going from place to place. He is now in custody and facing charges as an adult. Reporting live this morning outside of police headquarters, I'm Pamela Osborne, NBC 10 News.
And just to show you how prevalent this stuff is, we had a similar situation, even though it's 100 dudes like this, but we had a similar situation that made the news in DC. This was just in June. A teen suspect, he was in jail for COVID. Now, he was in jail during when the COVID thing came out, when the pandemic started. They let him out due to COVID. He came out and killed 4 people in like all different shootings. He was going around spraying up everything. Okay? He killed a 31-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old. He killed 2 girls. He killed an 18-year-old. And he was part of a beef between some kind of neighborhood beef. But yeah. And it's 100 of them in DC. Okay? Mob in the streets. 200. Would Karens allow this in their community? I don't think so. Get in the comment section, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, take the $5 challenge, support this channel via PayPal, Cash App. Peace. I'm out.